And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, fellow futures traders, friends, and family. It's time for the market recap for Tuesday, June the 7th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time and hanging out with me a little bit at the end of the day here. It was an interesting trading day. If you were there for Make Hoag Money, we had a rough morning. We lost about 850, but I have a feeling if we would have had a little bit more time, we would have gotten right in this market and ended up having a really good day, and I'm hoping that you did too. As far as news from today, the Fed is tracking the GDP and sees recession closer rather than further away. Target today warned about Q2 profits. Market still actually did end up closing higher. The S&P almost a full percentage point higher. That's a little better than eking out some highs after opening lower this morning. And of course, Janet Yellen spoke today and included many painfully obvious points in her speech. Of course, she says it's critical to boost production of renewable energy to address climate change. She does say that oil producers have incentives to increase production. I'd like to see that. And she refused to answer any questions from the press after her speech today. So there we go. That's it. As far as the markets today, we did have crude oil expand its range, but still largely in range. We're still waiting for data as far as crude inventories are concerned this evening and tomorrow. The E-mini S&P and the NASDAQ, the lower extremes of balance provided some support, and we had inventory adjustment. Remember, they were both short this morning. Inventory brought us back to range, back inside value, and then we completed. I know in the S&Ps we did more than complete the value area special situation play. I believe we may have even put in a late spike. It's going to be another interesting trading day for us tomorrow. Crude oil, short time frame control brings visual opportunities. Remember we talked about when the market is in short time frame control, the way we believe the gold market is, it goes to levels that short time frame late traders look for, and sometimes they are respected. We'll see that in the charts this afternoon. As far as the euro is concerned, balance remains after the overnight inventory adjustment. We had a lot of overnight inventory adjustment in these markets today. The 10-year price targets upside visuals, pulling back towards the breakout level to the downside. We'll see if we find some resistance there. And the natural gas traders finally get a digestion day, just kind of hanging out, seeing if it's going to accept price at these new higher levels. It didn't do a bad job today. It's going to be interesting. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome on the recap. And as always, I do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out at the end of the day. Tachyon, good afternoon, Julius. Down 930 for the combine. Learning day for you. That's okay. We lost a little less than that in Make Hoag Money, but like I said, I'm pretty sure if we had had more time, we could have gotten right the market and ended up having a pretty good day. But you are right, Spencer. It happens to all of us. 3 trading days left this week. Glad that you had a decent trading day this morning, Spencer. And Tachyon, yeah, we always start from zero. Even if we have a good day, the next day I always try to remember to start from zero. We see a lot of our funded traders, after having really good days, having some of their worst days the day after that. Maybe we start to think we know what the market's going to do, or we are moving the markets ourselves, or we think we have more risk to play with, so we play with more risk, and sometimes that can be a detrimental thing. Chilling with Dylan, not a bad day. Good to see you. Bill, good to see you. James, good evening. James, you got this, as he is telling Tachyon. Good afternoon, George. Joe, good afternoon. First day out of the penalty box and combine combine second stage, 1 win, 2 losses, broke even, trading grade A, controlled risk. Nice job, Joe. Brody made a great call this morning. Say if we got up past yesterday's low, it was a great north signal. That was basically yesterday's low was value low, and once we accepted inside value, the rule states there's a high probability of price reaching the other extreme of the value area from the previous day. We'll check that out. Ricardo, good afternoon, and Vince. Vince, looking forward to a little time away next week. I know you're going to have a good time. All right. This is the link for group coaching tomorrow. I think we had a really good session yesterday. Talked about a couple of things that people had questions on the forecast, so we went through those yesterday. And I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central for group coaching. Again, bring your questions, bring your ideas. You can email me at jhoagland@topstep.com. If you want to get me set up for the question, always appreciate that. But of course, we spend an hour and a solid hour usually just kind of talking and answering questions and discussing trading. One of my favorite things to do is be in a room full or a ring full of traders and standing around talking about trading. It always seemed as though when we were on the trading floor, even at social events, we'd always end up standing around in a circle and yelling at each other. All right, let's take a look at the charts. We're going to start with the crude oil this afternoon, just going from left to right. So here's kind of what we were looking at this morning. We were open interest continues to build. We added about 4,200 yesterday. Getting a sense of upside exhaustion, and the market did try both sides of the range today. Rather unsuccessfully, it expanded the range, but didn't really change much. So we still got the upside structure here. Here's the 30-minute. So we opened in range and value. We looked lower, we looked higher. We spent most of the day inside that initial balance. We did kind of look outside the initial balance, but not until just after the close. So we've expanded range, we've expanded value, but not really much of a change in value. So still kind of hanging around here, just kind of comfy, hanging just below 120 on its move, probably up to about 150, but we'll have to wait and see about that. API today at 3:30, EIA tomorrow at 9:30. Those are, of course, in Central Time. We'll see if those bring us any new information. Hey, Glitter Sandwich, good to see you. I'm going to miss you on Thursday and Friday as well. My brother Tom's here. Love you, Tom. Thanks for stopping in. Good afternoon to you. Let's take a look at the S&Ps now. Good afternoon, my goodness. So here's our range. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in balance. Yes, this morning we had an opportunity down near our last week's low, getting kind of cheap here in our area of balance. Provided a really good opportunity to the upside after the open. We decided to make whole money to trade the opening range trade, which was to the downside, and we got whacked on that. We had a couple of opportunities to try and find pullbacks to get into the move to the upside. We got whacked on a couple of those, and we ended up having to make whole money at about 920, 925 after 3 straight losses. We lost about 850. The account is still looking good. Here's the total on it: 152, 499.30. We're taking our steps towards a successful trading combine here. That's not really the point, but at least we're we're holding our own and doing well. So thanks to the team for all the participation and everything. Well, most people were thinking today they weren't quite sure what to think about the market, but we did talk about the target-rich environment down around 41. Okay, the market left the opening range to at the high of the session initially, couldn't take out the overnight low. Once we found acceptance back inside yesterday's area of value, the game is on. We're looking for opportunities to buy weakness because the expectation of that is upon reacceptance of previous day's value after opening outside, the move is to the other extreme of value. Now, it took all day for us to do that. Don't forget we had an overnight inventory to the short side. When that overnight inventory that was holding those shorts, probably a lot of them down in the hole here, saw that we could not take out our overnight low. That was probably just enough for them to start pushing this market higher. We ended up with a couple of small losses. The market was trying not to let us in, so we ended up, kind of having to wait and see if we were going to find some acceptance inside value, which we eventually did. We had a pretty decent move to the upside that failed to reach the upper extreme of yesterday's area of value. The market offered us a wonderful opportunity right here on the 11 o'clock bar. The price came all the way back to the value area low from the previous session after spending a lot of time up here. And it's that time that marks acceptance. So when price got back down to that level, I viewed that as a really decent opportunity to, number one, limit risk. We don't want it to go too far outside of the previous day's area of value. It never really did. We got to, if we bought it here, there was a pretty straight shot. I don't think we had too much space down below. It never really went against us much. And then finally we got our value area special situation play completion here around 1 o'clock. We did see some continuation to the upside, and we do see a late spike. The base of the late spike is going to be around 41.51.50 tomorrow morning. Opening in or above the late spike indicates acceptance of higher pricing that could take us to the upper extreme of the area of balance that we are currently in. That brings us up to this level, up to $42, $42.03, whatever this is. So if we open below the late spike, that might mark rejection of lower price, and we could see another test down to our last week's low, a naked point of control, and weekly kickoff low just below that. Very target-rich environment here. Couldn't quite get to it today. Maybe tomorrow's going to be the day. Again, we have to see how this market opens up in respect to the late spike that occurred at the end of the session today. Oh, yes, that special situation did work today. And it gave us such a nice move, such a nice pullback right to that weekly kickoff, to the value low from yesterday. Here's the NASDAQ. We actually got a look down below last week's low here in the NASDAQ, and I don't think that it quite completed the value area special situation play. So the NASDAQ is back to presenting as a slightly weaker market than the S&Ps. I know that we had we did it. We did it. It took all day for us to get to the upper extreme of value, but we did it. Yay us. Here's that area of balance. Here's the open. Looks down below. Did take out the low of the overnight session, but rejected. Back into value. Upon acceptance in value, we go long, we have the expectation. Just because we have an expectation doesn't mean those expectations have to be met. But eventually, throughout the day today, we did work our way to the high of the previous day's area of value. We used to call this the 80% play in the trading pit. I think it's more like the 65% play, but still odds of 65% odds aren't that bad. I'll take those, especially when you have an opportunity of this magnitude. I mean, we had 12,540 up to 12,719, so We had almost 300 points here in the NASDAQ if we were going from one extreme of the value area from yesterday to the other. Big. Gold and range bound. Short time frame control. Short time frame control. What does that mean? It means that there's not a lot of longer time frame traders involved in the daily movement of this market. And I think that happened again today. We've got the 30-minute chart here. We opened in range and value. Where is our low? Settlement? How about value low from yesterday? We rally to where to? We get almost to value high from yesterday. These visual levels are important when short time frame traders are in control. Did I trade this today? No, I did not. Did not see that there was great opportunity. And I was focused on the S&Ps. And for the euro, we can say range bound, we can say consolidating, we can say choppy, we can say whatever we want to say. It's again another market that is largely in short time frame control. We opened with overnight shorts. Those overnight shorts did not find what they were looking for after the U.S. regular trading hour open. So what do? They bail. Those shorts have to buy, so they bring price back to settlement, back inside value, and we end up finishing another value area special situation trade today in the euro. Opened outside of range, found acceptance back inside previous day's value. Upon that acceptance, the target goes to the other extreme of value. Almost a perfect opportunity for a value area special situation play today, almost to the tick. That scares me. The 10-year, relaxing. It chilled out today, got a pullback towards last week's low, which is relatively close to where the breakout to the downside occurred. Well, not really. Where are we in this thing? We got visual targets all over the place. These are all naked points of control that have yet to be revisited. We had one here. We hit that one yesterday. Nothing really lower. We had another one today that we almost hit. This market is still holding structure to the downside. I'm starting to question how good of a job it's doing, but we know that we have an FOMC meeting next Wednesday where they're going to be raising rates. So how do we buy these bonds or these notes when we know that rates are going to be higher at the end of next week? It's all about the timing. Seems like this was a day that was in short time frame control. Regular trading hours, value high from yesterday, trading to point of control from the day before. It's hard to be that excited or interested when there's other opportunities, number one, and I don't really trade that market that much anyway. There may be some more opportunities coming down the pipe as we get closer to FOMC, and after next Wednesday's FOMC, I think we're going to see some bigger opportunities in that. Nat gas, we had a big breakout to the upside yesterday, added 14,000 in open interest approximately. And that's a pretty good boost. And we increased volume too. Today we didn't bring in any volume. Today was a rest day. Today was a hangover day. The market just kind of hung out, rotated, spent time. Okay, this is our highest close for years. Where's that August swing high? 2008. It's been that long since we've had a close up here. And we're just spending some time digesting that information, it looks like. No idea what's going to happen tomorrow. And we got to keep our eyes on crude oil as well. So at 3:30 today, the API numbers come out. Oops. So, again, I appreciate everybody coming to hang out. Sarah Hoagland. My daughter's here. Hey, Sarah. Nice to see you. I didn't expect to see you here. This is my daughter, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah. This is everybody. We've got going to be heading down to Sarah's house after the recap here because Sarah's currently moving, and I'll have to tell you that story. And I was thinking about doing it in perfect Chicagoese, but it middle to me to save that for another day. What happened on this day in history? This was the first successful ascent of Denali Park up in Alaska. The first people to reach the summit of that was on this date in 1913. 1962, Switzerland becomes the first country to have a drive-through bank. It makes sense that it was on in Switzerland. 1966, Ronald Reagan is nominated for governor of California. 1976, New York Magazine publishes the story that becomes a Saturday Night Fever. What about in music? I know there's some cool birthdays in music. 1917, today is Dean Martin's birthday. Tom Jones' birthday, 1940. 1969, The Who's fourth album came out today. It was the album Tommy. It was a double album, and it was really the first piece of music in rock form that was considered a rock opera, and it's such a good album. If you've never listened to it, give it a listen. It's one of my favorites of the Who, and there are plenty. They had another rock opera that came out in 1973, and that was Quadrophenia, which is another fantastic album. In 1958, today is Prince's birthday. Happy birthday, Prince. 1969, Steve Winwood and the album with Blind Faith came out on this date. There was some controversy over the album cover for that. 1967, Dave Navarro, guitarist, singer-songwriter, was with Jane's Addiction, played with Red Hot Chili Peppers, Alanis Morissette, somebody who's pretty well seasoned here. 1977, they played the first of 6 sold-out nights at Madison Square Garden, Led Zeppelin. It, I think, ended up being... it was their 11th and final North American tour. I think this was where they got the footage for The Song Remains the Same, the live album, playing a 3-hour set, and tickets cost between $8.50 and $10.50. Can you imagine going to see Led Zeppelin for $10? I actually have a unused ticket right there for a 1977 concert at the Chicago. What was it? The Chicago Stadium that they never played. They canceled the last 4 cities on that tour because that was when Robert Plant's son Carrick died. Sarah probably remember this. Hanson started a 3-week run at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Mbop. That was 1997. So Sarah, you were 1. And that's about all of that. So don't forget, we do have group coaching tomorrow. Rosvan, just want to know why the ES seemed to be looking red up until about 8:30. If that's Central Time, it spiked up relentlessly until around, okay. Quadro, even better, right? I love that album. That's like one of my all-time favorite albums. Even my son Luke, he was like 12 or 13. He was like, what do you think the better album is, Dad? Led Zeppelin 4 or Quadrophenia by The Who? Love that kid. So Rosvan. I have a great move, Sarah. Hopefully Hogue carries out most of the stuff. Not really. So, all right, Rosvan. Let's take a look at these charts again, and I want to talk to you a little bit about overnight inventory. So here's the S&Ps. So we have the settlement price from yesterday is right here. What exactly is it? It is, let me see, 41.2050. 41.2050 is the settlement price from yesterday. All night long, on very low volume, of course, because we don't really have any major players that are playing overnight. We had short time frame pea shooter traders like me trying to push price lower. They're aggressively selling. They're hitting with market orders. They're selling. Prices moving lower. Prices moving lower. When the regular trading hours open up, okay, this is the 8:30 bar. This is where everything turned around. The opening range opened up, and it initially was left at the high of the session. That was probably short time frame traders trying to push this market and trying to entice new participants to the marketplace in the daytime frame to continue to push price in their direction. They did not. So we have all of these overnight shorts. We call that overnight inventory. If those overnight shorts, that overnight inventory doesn't see what they're looking for on the open, they usually head tail the other way. So we have shorts all the way down here. It's probably the shorts in the hole here were the first ones to bail out. And the more price comes higher, the more likely it is for this market to just continue to push higher until it actually reaches range and or the settlement price here. Okay, now we have another situation. The market opened out of range and out of value from yesterday. If we come back into value and reaccept through time, volume, participation, or momentum, the move says, well, the rule says, and rules are meant to be broken, of course, nothing happens exactly the same way twice. The rule states if we reaccept inside value from yesterday after opening outside of it, there's a pretty good probability that we will trade to the other extreme of value at some point during that session. Now, it took from acceptance here, 9 o'clock, to when did we finally reach it? In the 1 o'clock bar. So you would have had to sit in that trade all the way. You would even have price come all the way back to your entry and then finish the value area special situation play. Now we've got a gap to the upside. Okay? Webinars are on YouTube. Yes, Adam. Yes, they are. Okay, so Rosvan, that's one reason why we see markets that are deep one way, either higher or lower, right off the overnight, come back to the settlement price. Yes. Well, I'm glad I got your name right. I'm usually gifted at not doing that. All right. Hey, I got a dog. Come on. Sarah wants to see you. Come here. Come on. Oh, she's being camera shy today. She just wants to moose me. All right, so tomorrow we have nothing really. Wholesale inventories preliminary number, not going to be probably all that impactful. We do have the EIA petroleum status report due out at 9:30. One thing we're going to look at here is we may be able to catch the API weekly crude stock. We're looking for 1.8 million barrel draw. I do not see that it's popped up here just yet. They had a 1.18 million barrel draw last week. If you remember, the EIA had a pretty stiff draw. So not only are we running short of supply, we're running short of storage. Yeah, I don't see that it's popped up here just yet. Let me refresh this one more time, see if we get it. Nah, we'll have to look for it later on. Oh, good. I ended up turning into a buyer anyways, so today was very green. I like to hear that. Randall, good afternoon. Brad, good to see you. Huh, I was 0. Yeah, I guess you're probably right. 1997. Goose. All right, so I guess we'll call this a recap. Thanks again for joining me. We'll be with you tomorrow morning for the forecast and tomorrow for the recap as well as group coaching. But again, that's going to be it for me for the week. There's an outside chance that I might be able to present the forecast on Thursday. And if I get that chance, I will certainly do so. I will miss everybody, and it's always a pleasure to spend time with my family and my trading family. I got a lot of family that comes to visit me here. This is really nice. I haven't seen Sarah here in a while, but thank you for watching. And we'll be down by you here in just a little while, Sarah. We'll get your move done, and then maybe one of these days I'll tell the story in perfect Chicagoese here on the forecast or the recap. We'll see in a little bit. We'll see all of you tomorrow. Have a good night. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Keep praying for peace. Blessings to you all. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:45, same bat time, same bat channel. Trade well.